Κύριε Boyen, Mr. Boyen, are you here? Okay, perfect. Δεν ακούω. Να πω μέχρι να έρθει ο κ. Boyen ότι υπάρχει μια εξαιρετική έκθεση φωτογραφίας εδώ στο Sandowine, του κυρίου Τσιάμι. Thank you very much for everything and for your trip to Greece. I think it's not the first time. I think we have too many times.
I've been 4 times in
Four
Santorini.
times. And you have too many friends here in Santorini. Good friends.
Just a few. Thank you. Καλημέρα. Είμαι πολύ χαρούμενος που βρίσκομαι εδώ μαζί σας. So thank you for inviting me to your magical island. I was born in Belgium. As you know, nobody's perfect. And when I was in school, my last year in school, when I was 17, my maths teacher called me to the front and asked me a question, which of course I couldn't answer. And the maths teacher said, Mr. Boyen, you don't know very much, do you? And I said, well, I'm sorry about that. But he said, look at it from a positive side, because if you don't know very much, you cannot forget very much. So I became a commis chef in the kitchen when I was 17. And I worked my way over 8 or 9 years to executive chef. I worked in some Michelin star restaurants, etc. And after 9 years, when I became executive chef, my father started to talk to me again, because all my brothers and sisters had been to university. And obviously, he didn't like the fact that one of his children didn't study. So from Belgium, I went to England for a few years, and then I was in Turkey, and then I was in South Africa, then I was in the Comoros. And after the Comoros, I went to Moscow, and I was in Moscow from 92 to 97, running the Marco Polo Palace Hotel. And that was a very interesting time, just after Perestroika. Gorbachev was still the president. And we paid 5% protection money, or krisha, as we say in Russia, to the mafia. So we had to pay every month we had to transfer 5% of our revenues to a bank account in New York, by the way, Citibank, that was then sponsored by the mafia. And a little story about Moscow. There was one night in 1996, I think, when we got a bomb alarm in the hotel, and we had to evacuate all the people. It was in February. We had to evacuate 240 people. They stood outside in their bathrobes. Obviously, the bomb didn't go off, thank God, but it was minus 17, and we had our guests standing outside in their bathrobes for 2 hours. So for the beautiful ladies around here that are aware what cryotherapy is, we monitored it and we promoted it in Moscow already in those days, free of charge. I joined Orient Express Trains and Cruises, which today is owned by LVMH, and it's called Belmond now. And that was my home for the next 18 years. So my first job was general manager of a beautiful hotel in Bora Bora, French Polynesia. Unfortunately, the second year, we had 2 cyclones of winds, because I know you think it's windy here sometimes, but in Bora Bora, the cyclones, the wind was 280 kilometers an hour. So I had the night before, we had to again evacuate the whole hotel and say to our dear American guests that were from Florida and that said, we are used to cyclones, we have them every year. I said, this time it's a little bit different, because if you stay in the hotel, you're going to die. And that was the only way we could get them out of the hotel. Now, when the cyclone hit, we had 50 overwater bungalows built in the ocean, and they were all destroyed except for 2. They were lifted off their pillars, floated in the lagoon to the main island, and they landed on the beach of a 3-star hotel, a very good friend of mine. And he called me the next morning. He said, Philip, I have 2 of your bungalows on my beach. And I said to him, I said, listen, you never had any luxury accommodation. Why don't you keep them? But anyway, so that's enough about me. After Bora Bora, I went to Peru for 7 years, and we built 5 hotels and a big train operation for Orient Express. Then I came back to London to head office, as Vice President Operations, and then as COO of the company. And then in 2015, I became CEO of Small Luxury Hotels of the World. This island has quite a few, and Greece has quite a few small luxury hotels of the world. And I'm staying in Canaves Oya, which is one of the best, absolutely beautiful. And then I became CEO of Forbes Travel Guide. Forbes Travel Guide, we inspect and we train the best hotels in the world. We inspect about 2,600 hotels, restaurants, and spas every year. And there is only 340 five-star Forbes in the whole world. Why is it so difficult? Because 75% of our standards are about how do you make your guest feel in your hotel. So that is the difference between a good and a great hotel, is service, right? And I will speak a lot about that. So anyway, that's enough about me. After 40 years in the business, I am now an independent consultant. I still work for Forbes Travel Guide. I work for Corinthia Hotels. And I've just signed a new contract in Italy, so I'm working for the owner of the Orient Express La Dolce Vita trains that are going live next year in Italy. So very exciting. So let's talk about luxury travelers. They are changing, and so are their expectations. The younger generations of travelers, of luxury travelers, they are curious and they're putting experiences before price. They value authenticity, laid-back luxury, and a stronger connection with nature and with the local communities. Sustainability and responsible travel are playing an important part in their travel decisions. They want to know what we are doing to look after the environment and how we are giving back to the local communities. They expect us to be the facilitators to allow them to explore and discover the very best the destination has to offer. Above all, after the isolation and the frustration during COVID, they want to reconnect with people, people that genuinely care for them and simply make them feel good. They want hyper-personalized travel experiences. They seek out new, enriching experiences, and they want to be exposed and get excited about what they have never seen before. They like fabulous options, but they do not want to be over-programmed. They value discretion, but love sharing and showing off when they feel like it. They know style when they see it. They want to know the deeper story behind a place, an object, or a work of art, and experience luxury below the surface. Their hotel stay needs to be as interesting, dynamic, and exciting as the destination they visit. They expect the unexpected. They feel that luxury should adapt to them, not the other way around. So they savor personal comfort and bespoke experiences. They respect the importance of tradition, but they are attracted to the non-traditional choices. Travelers are trying to solve the equation of time versus experience and how to combine that experience with personal interests. Our challenge will always be to create unique experiences that offer value no matter what the price point. Guest expectations differ, so service has to be even more anticipatory, intuitive, and flexible. Staff shortages, as we are suffering all over the world, result in a lack of training. Employees suffer from burnout as they have to work harder. Many are promoted to positions without possessing the skills and frequently fail as they cannot cope with their new responsibilities. In my opinion, it has never been harder to manage luxury hotels than today. We're all suffering from staff shortages, energy price hikes, inflation, a challenging supply line, and interest rate increases. Owners and operators will have to reflect this in their financial expectations. The strength and resilience of luxury was once again proven during COVID. Luxury hotels not only survived, but especially resort hotels posted their best results ever and increased their average rates dramatically. So I'm asking, and especially this goes for Italy, because Italy's prices have increased so much if we look at the top destinations. So I'm asking, do we expect clients who are now paying 50 to 150% more for their rooms than in 1990, do we expect them to stay loyal to us? I think we have to be very careful because there is a limit. A US travel advisor I spoke to a few days ago told me that one of their wealthy clients wanted to book 3 rooms for 3 nights at the Amalfi Coast in Italy and was quoted $27,000. So $3,000 a room, not a suite, a normal room. So the client said, this doesn't feel right to me, I'm not going to do it. So he booked Croatia, for example. So some trends that I hear from the travel agencies, restaurant brands seem to be more innovative and prominent than hotel brands. So hotels need to shift towards differentiation. Room service and minibars are a new focus of the hotel experience. They should be thoughtful, creative, and reflect the benefit of the local community. Restaurants can be the emotional connection to the hotels, so we should elevate the experience through conscious and sustainable chefs. Discovery dining. More and more, menus should be dictated by local, seasonal, and organic produce. Health and wellness. Travelers have changed their lifestyle during COVID, and they want these healthy choices to continue during their travels. So when it comes to fitness, healthy food, personal nutrition, non-alcoholic drinks, etc. Mental health is as important as physical health. Sleep, because we cannot have a great day without a good night's sleep. So it's not only about fantastic mattresses and natural materials, it's also about soundproofing and blockout of light. Turn your hotel into a lifestyle hub. Create loyalty through energy and emotion. Give your clients a reason to stay longer. Sell the destination. Educate. Connect your clients with interesting personalities. And give them at least one reason to come back. Let's talk about the younger workforce, because we have challenges with that all over the world. Loyalty has a different meaning to them. Some companies paid full salaries during COVID, and even those companies now are struggling to find staff. The younger generation certainly have a sense of entitlement. Their most important motivation seems to be what's in it for me. And a good work-life balance is absolutely priority for them. Do you also have the feeling sometimes, like I do, when I interview people, that I'm being interviewed rather than you are interviewing them? They're asking me, what is your company doing to make the world a better place? How many days a week can I work from home? How long do I have to work here before I get promoted? But at the end of the day, it can be irritating. But one thing is for sure. If we don't learn to adapt and be flexible to some extent and meet some of their needs, we're never going to be able to attract young, talented people ever again into hospitality. I was very honored to do a graduation speech at Les Roches in Marbella a couple of months ago. And what had changed, because I did one in Glion 3 or 4 years ago, what had changed was that all these students were very interested to get back into hospitality. And they all had a lot of offers from top companies like Four Seasons, Peninsula, Rosewood, etc. to join hospitality. But these students, what I found interesting was they're looking for companies with a purpose, above all. An idea that they can buy into, rally around, and be part of a group of like-minded colleagues who are working towards a shared objective. Attitude is more important than experience. Once we've hired and trained the right people, let's not try and control them. Let's inspire, encourage, and support them. be the oxygen that lights their fire, people will always rise to the level of esteem in which we hold them. Nobody comes to work with the intention to be negative or to do a lousy job. They come to work to contribute to a purpose. Our job is to build that purpose and to find the best people within it. They want the opportunity to learn, to grow in responsibility, to contribute to others, and to be recognized for their achievements. Money is important, but it's certainly not the only motivation to join our industry. For employees, the first day in a new or even their first job is a significant emotional event. Their mind and ears will never be quite this open again, even on the second or the third day. This is the moment to inspire them. They want to hear from their new leader, and I mean the general manager or the owner of the hotel, what the purpose and the vision of the company is. They want an invitation to join in pursuing this vision and hear about the important role that they will be playing in achieving those objectives. To achieve excellence and service excellence, we strive to offer our guests a consistently excellent experience at every touch point throughout the property. To achieve that, our employees need to be confident, competent, and feel good in their own skin. Competence and confidence come from experience and training. Self-esteem comes from being treated with respect. Every time we make our guests think or work harder, luxury disappears. And when it comes to the employee journey, it all starts with their basic needs. The days of paying our employees minimum salaries and paying them out of tips are over. They are behind us. They deserve a competitive salary. Should we not try and welcome our staff every day to a clean and attractive staff entrance? Should we not make sure that their changing rooms and toilets are squeaky clean and that they have the amenities and the uniforms to look their best? To consider the staff restaurant as a hotel food and beverage outlet rather than a staff canteen. When we do these things, I can assure you, they will feel respected, they will feel valued. And in return, we can demand them to give us their best. We have always stated that our employees are the most important asset. Now is the time to walk the talk. For me, the key to service excellence is to create the emotional connections with our guests, and that with consistency over time translates into loyalty. Loyalty cannot be bought with miles or points. Loyalty has to be earned. Forging those emotional connections is key. For that to happen, we need to allow our staff to be their authentic selves. Service needs to feel genuine, natural, and spontaneous. Luxury is more and more about the little things, and they don't have to be expensive. Recently, I stayed at a Raffles hotel, and my butler called me in advance to ask me if she could unpack my luggage, and I said, of course. I walk into the room, my suits are pressed, my shirts are pressed, my shoes are polished, wonderful. Then I walk into the bathroom, and there's a tiny little, beautiful handwritten card. And she said, "Dear Mr. Boyen, while I was unpacking your luggage, I could see that your toothpaste that was running low. So I took the liberty of replacing it with the same brand." That is an emotional connection, right? What did that cost? 5 minutes to write the card, $5 for the toothpaste. And I appreciated that more than all the champagne and the fruit and the charcuterie and the cheese in my room, right? And if I go back to that city, I can assure you that's the hotel that I will stay at, right? So that's what I mean by emotional connections. In the Dorchester, one of the Dorchester hotels in Paris, we had a meeting once, and I had a cappuccino in front, and I was talking too much. And the waiter comes from behind. He lets the conversation die down. He doesn't interrupt, because that is the worst thing. He lets the conversation die down, and he whispers in my ear, "Mr. Boyen, I think your cappuccino is cold. I replaced it. Here is a new one." That's an emotional connection, right? And I often get asked by journalists, how do you know when you are in a great hotel? And it's not very complicated. And I always say, because every staff interaction in that hotel, I can feel that the person delivering the service enjoys it as much as the person receiving it. And then I know I'm in a fantastic hotel. You have all heard for sure that purpose will have strategy for breakfast any day. If we put purpose ahead of profit, the profit will come. Put profit ahead of purpose, and you can get results intermittently, but over time this will fail. Pinch a penny here, pinch a penny there, and the guest will get tired of you. Purpose is the heart of the business. Profit is the applause we get for creating a motivating environment for our people so that they will take excellent care of our guests. The future of hospitality is being rebuilt as we speak. Now more than ever, young, talented and committed recruits have an opportunity to leave a mark. The industry needs a change in the employee experience. It's not only about creating the guest experience. We need to create the employee journey as well. And it is challenging to create the hybrid work schedule that so many young people are seeking. But what we need is to welcome fresh eyes in the industry that speak the voice of the new workforce and that are ambassadors for change and creativity. And it's a great time for young, talented and committed individuals in the industry to move through the ranks quickly. Some of the general managers in top luxury hotels around the world are now in their early 30s. 10 years ago, this was not possible. You had to wait for a very long time to grow and to get a responsible position. And now companies are hiring younger people and train them in the skills they need. We need to convince parents and their children that hospitality is an honorable profession. This is one of the problems. A lot of people don't think that hospitality is a profession at all, and they look down on it. And it's the same in France and England and Germany and even in America. And I strongly believe that our responsibility and the responsibility of general managers in hotels is to go and speak to students, and not only from hotel schools, to young students, and try and explain the beauty of hospitality and the opportunities that they could get. I do it whenever I can, and not just at hospitality. I've spoken to children that are 12 years old, and they get really excited when I tell them about the countries I worked and the stories and the experiences that I've had. And here are some of the messages that I tell especially graduates when I go and speak to them and when I try and motivate them to stay in our industry. Never confuse confidence with arrogance. The more responsibility you are given, the bigger your title becomes. Stay humble. You will experience moments when you feel the world is at your feet, but you will also experience moments of desperation. Many people will like you for what you are, not for who you are. Take care of your family and friends. Love them, cherish them, because they are the ones that are going to help you through the difficult times. As human beings, we crave a strong sense of belonging and connection. We want to be part of something greater, an industry of such diverse individuals to learn from, colleagues who will support you and have your back, an organization with values you can relate to and that is committed to your growth and development, a company that will allow you to see the world and become an empathetic being. The human touch and the first-hand experiences can never be replaced. To connect with so many people and cultures, taste food like never before, smell aromas that will be embedded for a lifetime, discover sights that can only remain a dream for others. These experiences that await you in hospitality will not only form you as a professional, but as a person as well. Hospitality is an institution built to craft exceptional experiences for the human race. Why not be the architect of these life-changing memories? And lastly, we all worry much too much. Try not to. Because worrying does not take away the tensions of today, but it drains your energy for tomorrow. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ για την προσοχή σας.